Hello, I'm calling for a boycott of C1 Bank, and I'm also looking for a legal firm that will represent someone that is being strong-armed by a bank when the bank itself is in the wrong. And when the bank was exposed for what it did, instead of fixing the problem that they actually admitted to doing, and instead of giving the client the recompense that they offered to give them in lieu of the offenses that they had committed, they decided instead to foreclose. This person had asked the bank to do what they said they were going to do to make up for the harm that they caused for 2 years, and eventually stopped making payments to get their attention. Now there were offers made by the bank to do less than what they originally agreed to do. But what's happening right now is a bank is getting away with hurting somebody. An employee at the bank hurt someone intentionally. They're getting away with this. And now, instead of actually coming to the trough and doing what they said they were going to do honorably, they're foreclosing. C1 Bank, with the knowledge of each of its board of directors, because we advised every board member of the full details, is using the foreclosure tool improperly and unjustly to further bully their original victim and at the same time cover up exposure of their unacceptable behavior. C1 Bank has, at least in both of our specific cases, preemptively undermined the terms, conditions, and contracts covered within any bank's operating licensing agreements held by the state and federal governments, and by default, they are preemptively undermining and abusing every person these pre-qualifying instruments are in place to protect. C1 Bank, intentionally and knowingly, at least in our case, breached their licensing contract. C1 Bank, in our opinion, remains in breach of the trust and confidence inherently required in order to operate as a bank. They did this by failing to willingly honor their fiduciary responsibility and maintain acceptable corporate performance under civil law, public order, and good faith business practice. The ultimate effect being that their ongoing victim is forced to pay the price for their breach and for their abuse and for their bad faith dealings, yet it remains C1 Bank that fails to meet their commitment with the people they are at the same time raping at will. This means they cannot be trusted by anyone, and when this is allowed by those who regulate and govern, those who are appointed, elected, and paid to serve and protect the individual interests of every constituent and their literal bosses, we all have a problem that we have the right and I might say obligation to unite in rectifying for the good of all citizens, not just a few at the top who continue to blatantly abuse the rights that we all own. Now, what makes matters worse is there isn't a lawyer out there that will help her without charging more money than a poor pensioner could possibly afford. Where is the justice in this? I don't get it. If you're a lawyer and you have a firm and you're making money and you're supporting your family, you should at some point or another be able to help people like this just out of the goodness of your heart. But I suppose that's old school. I suppose taking care of business when it needs to be taken care of and standing up when you can and should is not worth your time anymore. Not if you can't make a lot of money and take advantage of people who are down and out, just like C1 Bank is. What happened to justice? I'm told now by many of the lawyers that we have tried to get to help her that judges are prone to favoring banks now. What happened to that lady with the blindfold on and the scales in front of her? This is a specific circumstance where C1 Bank acted completely inappropriately, continued to do it, and when someone tried to force them to do what they offered to do and admitted to doing, they get hurt by the bank. And the justice system will sit back and watch and not listen. Is that the truth? Am I to assume that most judges will favor the bank without even hearing the story? Am I to assume that most lawyers won't help someone like this and because they're in a business? This makes me sick. No wonder America's in the mess it's in. What happened to the regulatory bodies that are supposed to watch over banks? I'll tell you what happened. They didn't even look into it. I'm tired of this. But where we're going to start is with C1 Bank, and I'm asking people out there to boycott them. And if you have an account with them, I'm asking you to leave that bank. I'm asking the people that they sponsor or work with to stop dealing with them, and the vendors that they have to turn their back on them, because what they did is atrocious and inappropriate and unacceptable. But the reason it keeps on going is that people put up with it, and the media keeps it out of the press, and the courts favor the banks, and the government itself lets them get away with it. And I'm sick of it, and I hope you are too. I want C1 Bank boycotted, please, and thank you. And I want a call from a lawyer, a decent lawyer who knows how to handle people like this, who will go to court and put it right. And finally, at least for now, I'm looking for people who are good at using computers, who are not afraid to post these kinds of subjects. I want to put every piece of documentation that we tried to use to get the bank to just agree to do what they agreed to do, and that's just that simple. I guess in the end they decided they didn't have to, because people don't do anything about it. Well, we are going to do something about it. We're going to create a site where we can publish all of this, and we can bring other people in as well. Now, we are in Southwest Florida, and C1 Bank is a Florida bank, and our concentrated area for now is going to be Florida. If people in other cities and states want to do similar kind of things, great. We'll work together and we'll help each other. But this is where we're starting. So the people that might want to help us, we're around here, Southwest Florida. I would like to take a class action against them because they also slated me, even though I'm not on the loan. I am part of this process, and I am just as ticked off, but I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the lady that they're hurting, because she's as good as they come. This will be a site where we can help anybody that has this kind of a problem. A local out kind of site, and I would like anybody who has this kind of experience to contact me through my email, and maybe we can work together. I'd like to post all of the letters and correspondence that went to C1 Bank. I want the whole world and the public to know what happened and how they did it, because it's just unacceptable. And people like us at this level are just being left out in the cold whenever we have a real kind of problem that needs solving. So, I'm not against America. I am for America. I'm not against business. I am against businesses that hurt people on purpose. And if you're not against that kind of thing, then you shouldn't be here either. I'd also like to be contacted by people who know anything about setting up a trust fund. We'd like to set up a fair play fund or foundation or co-op, I guess you could call it. I'd like to work at it full time because I used to work in a bank for 25 years. I know banking inside and out. What these people are doing and what many American banks is doing is just plain wrong. And somebody has to get a stranglehold on this. In addition to that, there are a lot of companies out there who aren't doing things that they're licensed to do. Licensed to do. We can take away their licenses. We can stop this. We can get people that are politicians to do what we need them to do, because that's why they're there. I gotta also say that it's not enough for us to just file a defense. We have to file a countersuit against this bank, and we need to find a lawyer who's willing and able to do that, and we need to find people who are willing to help with it, who are willing to do documentation, to work together, to find other cases where the similar things are happening. We have to stop this kind of abuse of the power that we assign to people in our licenses. I mean, this is about more than just our constitutions. They're written down, they're in black and white, yes, but it's the implementation that's the problem. Please contact me. My email is peterpaniamnot, all one word, @gmail.com. I'm doing this for her, not me, but you better do this for yourself, and in the process help her and yourself as well. I'm sorry if this isn't perfect. I don't have a staff of writers. I don't have a staff of anybody, and we could have spent a lot of time trying to re-edit and edit and rewrite and trying to make this acceptable to the public, but I'm sick of trying to make things radio ready or perfect in the legal sense. This is about everyday people making sure that everyday things are done properly, and that's all there is to it. And I hope you'll help us, and I hope in the process we'll all start to help each other and make the difference that we all need to make this a better place and a better life and a better community and a better system. Because right now it's not the system that's the problem. It's the bums in the seats that don't get up when they should. And I'm asking you to right now. It's time we all got together and made a difference. Please contact us and help, or do something about it in your own way. Boycott this bank. Bring to our attention other people that are doing things like this, because I'm tired of it. And I'm talking about doing things legally. I'm talking about doing things within our rights. I'm talking about doing the things that our constitutions say we can and we have the right to do. We the people are in charge. And this is not subversive when that is all we're trying to do, is take control back of what has gotten out of control. My name is Richard, and I thank you for your time. And I just want to say one more thing. It's not about who we follow. It's about the way we all go. And we've all got to start to work together in a very constructive way. Thank you.